Okay, so today we're going to continue our discussion on the CVs and resume. So last class we discussed about what is the structure of a CV and what is the structure of a resume and what should be included in that. So today, to finish it off, a very brief section. I won't take much time on this. This is about the covering letter. So once you have prepared your resume, now resume is basically going to give the employer or the interviewer a description about yourself in a nicely structured way. But covering letter is something where um, it makes the appeal. It makes the appeal to it. It's like a request where you ask the person to go through your CV. It's like informing. Right? So simply that is the whole idea behind covering letter. So we'll just quickly discuss what are the important points there and how to structure that. So a resume or a curriculum vitae has no declaration as we find in an application form. It is also not necessary to sign the resume. So at the end, you don't have to normally, like when you write letters, you have to sign something. But in a resume or a CV, we don't do that. We just kind of mention, okay, it may just finish up with the referee section. Okay, the referee section might be the last one. Maybe at the last, after that, some people put kind of a declaration statement that the above details are true to my knowledge or something like that. So that may not be very necessary. Simply those kind of declaration stuff and all, we put it under the covering letter. So a resume or CV has no declaration as you find in an application form. It is also not necessary to sign the resume, so you don't do that. Therefore, every resume sent to an employer should have a covering letter, which indicates the post applied for. Here is a very simple format how you would start writing a covering letter. So just like some official letter structure, you start with the date, you put your address, and maybe your contact numbers. So even in the case of email, you'll put the contact numbers. Then the person who is going to receive the covering letter, their designation, and the address of the company where they're working, and maybe the post applied for. So sometimes the post applied for is like you don't put it onto the left aligned way. It might come into the center part. Then salutation is how do you start, like dear sir, dear madam, or if you know the person's name, something like that. After that, you start mentioning the reference, okay, with reference to this and this particular post, I have attached this resume, so please take into consideration, something like that. So you start with the reference, then you go into kind of marketing yourself, summary of your qualifications, emphasizing your suitability to apply, the request for consideration, willingness to appear for an interview should be stated in the character. So this kind of a area is needed in your cover letter, where you try to market yourself and match your skills and capabilities to the job role you are applying for. Right? So we'll see a example in the other book. I will explain also. Maybe I will also we'll try to go through a top jobs, a random job vacancy, and see how we can write a covering letter targeting that. So then you finish it off with thank you, name, date, and signature. But there are there are some structures where you finish it off. For example, if you have written dear sir, dear madam, something like that, where without mentioning the name, you finish it off normally. It's okay to finish it off, thank you. Apart from that, you can use yours faithfully, right? So this is when you use the salutation call, dear name, dear madam, sorry, dear sir, dear madam, so and so forth. Let's say you know the person's name. Let's say dear Pereira, dear Sandamal or somebody. Right? If you know the name, you have to finish it off as yours sincerely. Yours sincerely. So keep that in mind. I think in the next lesson also you have a thing called business letters. How do you type business letters? So we'll be again revisiting that. But just keep that in mind. So when you use something where you don't know the name, you finish it off as yours faithfully. If you know the name, you finish it off as yours sincerely. Okay, let's go to the other book to see some additional points or important considerations when writing a covering letter. So whenever you submit your resume, accompany it with a cover or application letter to let readers know what you're sending, why you're sending it, and how they can benefit from reading. So these are the 3 points you need to emphasize. You have to inform them what you're sending, why you're sending it, and how they can benefit, or what is the purpose, kind of thing. Because your application letter is in your own style rather than the choppy shorthand style of a resume, it gives you a chance to show your communication skills and some personality. So this is the key point here, right? So as we saw earlier, CV and resume are like a short format of the about yourself. But let's say, imagine you send an email. Now nowadays people don't send cover letters. No, they send easily. They attach the CV in a PDF or Word format into an email. So most of the times these empty body emails come to the employers, because what people think is applying for a job means just finding the employer's email address, typing it into the senders list. Sometimes people forget to put the subject line also. So they just go and attach the CV and send it. That's it. So this is not the way how you apply for a job. So you have to have a proper email topic, okay, application for the post of so and so. And then apart from that, you have to write something. So then only the person who is receiving the email will have a good sense of you. You have taken the time to write something and apply for this job. So that way it also kinds of adds value to you. So it's communication skills and some personality, right? So that's a point. Then always send your resume and application letter together, because each has a unique job to perform. So for example, if you are going to send it manually through a post, those should be sent together. Normally you can use a stapler, or some people take a printout of the resume, is 1 or 2 pages, that as one thing, and the letter is separate, but you fold it together and send it in the envelope. So the purpose of your resume is to get employees interested enough to contact you for an interview. The purpose of your application letter is to get employees interested enough to read your resume. Right? So 2 purposes you can see. So resume is to decide for them for contacting you for an interview. The purpose of application letter is, with the letter they will get an idea whether to read your resume or not. So you can see before going to the resume, application letter will give them an idea to consider your resume. Right? So that is why writing a covering letter is very, very important. Right. So that's another tip to acknowledge. So as part of the writing the covering letter, you should have done some research about the company you're applying for. So before drafting a letter, learn something about the organization you're applying to. Then focus on your audience so that you can show you've done your homework. Imagine yourself in the recruiter's situation. So think from their side and show how your background and talents will solve a particular problem or fill a specific need the company has. The more you can learn about the organization, the better you will be able to capture the reader's attention and convey your interest in the company. During your research, find out the name, title, and department of the person to whom you are writing. Reaching and addressing the right person is the most effective way to gain attention. So avoid phrases such as to whom it may concern and dear sir and madam. So you can see what this whole paragraph is telling about is the more you do a research about the company, more likely they will also feel uh, good, or they will also feel confident that you have done something. You have made the effort to learn about people who are working there and the company structure, operations, all this stuff. So one point to uh, one point to get there is if you can find out the person's name whom you are writing the or drafting the email to, or maybe the letter. Right? So instead of using dear sir or madam, if you can, as much as possible, try to find the person's name. That's where you have the added advantage. Then keep it short. When putting yourself in your reader's shoes, remember that this person's inbox is probably overflowing with resumes and cover letters. So imagine they are receiving everything through email. Uh, the person who is going to receive your email, not only you are the person sending it, they will, many others are also going to send their resumes. So keep that focus in mind. Okay, they are going to receive a lot of mails. I don't have to type big paragraphs or big lengthy documents. Make sure uh, it is no longer than one page. So respect your reader's time. It should maintain a friendly conversational tone. Highlight the specific points the company is looking for. Show that you know the job, right? So if the job vacancy is there, uh, the way you write the covering letter, the way you market yourself, you have to show the confidence that you are more suited to the job and you have understood the job role. So there are two types of covering letters people do. One is solicited, the other one is unsolicited. Generally, a person who has experience and trying to go to another place, they are trying to uh, apply for another role, most likely those people will write a solicited application letter because they already have some work experience, or they already know about the job role. For example, to understand it in another way, solicited application letter or covering letter is something where already the job role is known or it is advertised. So simply like you see an advertisement. In the advertisement, uh, the job vacancy is posted. All the details about the job role is posted. So every information is known beforehand. Based on that, when you type a covering letter, that kind of covering letter is known as solicited one, right? So if you're sending a solicited application letter in response to an announced job opening, you will usually know what qualifications the organization is seeking. You'll also have more competition because hundreds of other people will also send it. So here, this is a sample solicited application letter for a job vacancy that was posted somewhere. So here you can see they have typed. So here additionally, apart from the date, they have typed the person's address, and this is the receiver's name, Miss Angela Clare. So the letter is typed for this person. She's working at she's a director of administration, and the address, and see, with the name you start. So where was I? So as a sender, let's say you are the person sending, you put your address and your date, then at the next, after a couple of spaces, you type the receiver's name, their position, and their address. And finally, then next line would be the salutation. Since you know the name here, you type it like that, Dear Miss Claire. Then you can see you have put the topic here, like joining your firm as an office assistant. So this wording doesn't have to be in this way. As we'll see as we type our example, we can use a different topic as well. But the important point is it should have a what do you say? It should have a mentioning about the job vacancy or the position which you are applying to. That is the title. Then you start with the reason for writing. So states the reason for writing and links the writer's experience to stated qualifications. So the reason should start immediately. So please consider me for the office assistant position. You advertised in the January 31 issue. So where you're showing the reference also. See, at this particular issue only, they have seen this position. Yeah. So in addition to experience in a variety of office settings, I am trained in the software used in your office. So this shows kind of a confidence. So the reason is first stated. Then next would be like marketing your skills. Right? Discusses how specific skills apply to this particular job sort, showing that Caruso understands the job's responsibility. Caruso means the person who is applying for, right? So here, this person Caruso is explaining about his skills, how it is matching with this job vacancy. So he's saying, okay, I recently completed a three course sequence at so and so college on this technology, Microsoft Office. I learned how to use Word, Excel, speed up reporting tasks, manage databases, a workshop on writing and editing with the Unix processor gave me experience with other valuable applications such as composing format. So all about skills that this person has related to this vacancy. Right? Finally, any other extra things like explains an achievement mentioned in the resume and refers the reader to the enclosure. So for example, with these skills, if there was something remarkable in the sense, something that needs to get the attention of the employer, you can highlight those things here. So maybe this information is already there in the resume, but you can, kind of make them go and look the resume. So this is how you, attract them. So these skills have been invaluable to me as an assistant to the chief nutritionist at Kara Food Services. See, so the order confirmation system I designed has sharply reduced late shipments and improved inventory. So how this achievement, these skills, how it has helped you in some place, and the benefits people got from that. So like it's like the achievement. And finally, closure is kind of appealing to call you. So I would appreciate an interview with you. Please telephone me in any afternoon between 3 and 5 p.m. Again, re-emphasizing the number to let me know the day and time most convenient for you. So here you can see, since you have used the name, you finish it with sincerely. So generally we use yours sincerely. Since this is a printed covering letter, a hard copy, you'll have to have a space for signing it off, and then put your name, and also you mention something else, enclosure resume, meaning resume is also attached. Right? So I will show you how we do it in a um, email, then you will get an idea. Okay. Uh, right. So that was about solicited application letter. For a non-advertisement, how you market your skills. Quickly, we'll look at something called unsolicited. Now, unsolicited application letter is just the opposite of that, as I mentioned. If you don't know the job role, but you know the company, but you don't know what vacancies are available there. Now, this may be a case where you have just finished your college, or you have just finished your degree or your professional programs, and now you're desperate to get into a company called A. Let's say you already know that company A is very popular in the country, or maybe popular in the business, in that industry, so you want to somehow get into that company. In that case, you can follow the unsolicited application letter format. Okay. So there, what you do is same structure, address, date, persons, whatever the receiver's name, their position. So the company name is the Bay, for example, in this example, right? Then he starts with the salutation. Again, topic is also same. Now you start with making uh, an attention. So here you started with a reason because you know this was posted somewhere, so you mentioned that reason. But here you start with something like this: please accept this application for your next trainee position or next available vacancy on some job role. The opportunity to develop a career at the Bay with its industry leading inventory practices fits my career goals, and I would deliver on your expectations for a hardworking, enthusiastic, and competent employee. So this is like uh, putting the uh, putting the company on the top. Like, you appreciate the company, so you give a good name, or you give a good compliment to the company, and you're kind of asking for a position there, right? So also you're not begging. Actually, this is not begging. Don't confuse this, because some people write the language in a way, please, I don't have any job. I would like to work here because this and this. No, that is not the way. That is not the point also we are discussing here. Here, unsolicited letter is generally accepted format. The main point is you try to uh, professionally market yourself, mentioning if there is any vacancy there, please consider me. I am available, something like that. So that's the language you're using here. So first you gain the attention, then you start mentioning about your general qualities, general skills. So here, since you don't know what is the position, what available positions are there, you can keep on explaining about all your skills here, or important skills. Sometimes it may not be relevant to whatever the position that's going to come up, but generally you can mention the reason why we mention all the skills. That's why it's mentioning. It points out qualities that aren't specifically stated in this person's resume. Yeah, Glenda Jones. The reason why we have to put this is because when they go through the skill set, then as the employer or the interviewer, they can get an idea. Okay, if you have these skills, okay, maybe a subset of skills might be suitable for some of the future openings that are going to come in the company. Then after that, they may start referring to your resume and going through. So that's why we need to give that. Otherwise, they will not even look at your resume. Okay, so that is like you put all your important skills here, not relevant to any specific role. Then interests. Reader with knowledge of the company's policy toward promotion. Now you try to go further from the first paragraph, uh, trying to give the impression that you have you have gone through the company's policies, their work ethics, etiquettes, and like you kind of say that you are very interested in their working policies, right? So in addition to customer service skills, I bring strong administrative skills. During my diploma in retailing, I gained knowledge of marketing, experience in solving problems by analyzing spreadsheets. I have used databases at Zeller, so this is another company they work, or maybe done some assignments, who knows. So I also studied international sourcing during my life and learned about many of the best practices. So see how this person is uh, bringing her extra interest and relating it to her experience with this company before. So sometimes she may have already, this person might have already uh, interacted with this company at a different place. Right? Even sometimes you can mention, now this could happen to you also. You have a company and you haven't gone to that company, but you are dreaming of. But sometimes you may have met some of the people in a exhibition or maybe in a job fair somewhere, right? And or maybe they might have conducted some competitions. So in that case, you can relate your experience. So that is what comes under this paragraph. Relate your experience with this company in the past and mention it here. So now this is another added uh, impression for the employer. This person has already known about us. Okay, they know about us and they have talked with us, something like that. They will get that impression. Finally, focus on the audience and displays the you attitude, even though the last paragraph uses the word I. So I understand that the Bay prefers to promote its managers from within the company. So I am seeking an entry level position. So this is a very tricky, clever way of uh, not saying please take me, but you kind of put the ball to them. Okay, you normally promote managers within the company and you don't take people outside, but still, if that is the case, I would like to see an entry level position. That means I want to come from the beginning, no issues. I will telephone you early next Wednesday. So this is similar to the earlier one. Or please call me, right? So this is what is called an unsolicited application letter, right? So the remaining discussion goes on to see comparison and some important points. I'm not going to go into detail there. Uh, so there are some things like once you start writing a covering letter, you will see how you can improve it. So now instead of giving details like this, I completed 3 college courses in business communication, earning an A in each course, and have worked for the past year at Imperial Construction. This is okay at the beginning, but a slightly improved version would be using the skills gained from 3 semesters of training in business communication. I developed a collection system for Imperial Construction that reduced its, so you give a more uh, high level detail about your achievement. So like that, some language can be improved as you go. Um, so the final paragraph of your application letter has 2 important functions. One is to ask the reader for specific action and to make a reply easy. 2, right? Specific action and to make a reply easy. So in almost all cases, the action you request is an interview. Don't demand it. However, try to sound natural and appreciative. So the tone of language is very important. Okay, so have you understood how to write these covering letters? I mean the general format. Again, I will give you the reference number to these 2 pages, 330 and 331. Maybe notes you can go for. I mean some of this information we discussed starts in bottom part of 329. So 329 onwards, you can start reading and get an idea further how you can structure your covering letter. So any questions on that for the moment before we go into an example? Everybody understood solicited covering letter, unsolicited covering letter, and the structure? I hope. Any questions? Any doubts? Okay. Okay. So let's see how we could type a typical okay, I don't know where to find your kind of job vacancy. Maybe it comes under, I'm just going random. Okay, counting. Okay, let's see if this is so fully qualified. ICS, 3 to 5 years experience. Mercantile sector. Let's take a simpler one. Anybody could assist me which one I could click? I leave it to you, so then I can start from there. Anybody who wants to volunteer? You choose a job vacancy. This is our current job vacancies. So we are just going to do a sample. We are not going to actually send it to them. Just a sample. Anything you want to choose from here? Any suggestions? You can mention the number here. Telemarketing. Number 15. Accounts executive. Right. Part qualified finalist. Let's see what is there. High standard of spoken English, minimum of 1 year experience. Okay, let's see what this is. Who is the company? Okay, company name is, I think, this one, no? This logo. Telepliant. So this is established in 2003. Telepliant Limited is an award-winning voice over IP and cloud communications provider based in UK. Our mission is to develop a deep understanding of our customers' needs and apply this knowledge to help them succeed. So they have given even their mission statement. We are looking, so why most of companies don't put this, but some put this, why? To see if your ideas align with this mission. So it's to develop a deep understanding of our customers' needs and apply this knowledge to help them succeed. Okay. We are looking to recruit an accounts executive to work in our offshore office in Colombo. So requirements for this vacancy is partially qualified finalist in CMA or ACCA, high standard of spoken and written English, minimum of 1 year experience, especially in the BPO sector, experience in working with ERP systems, advantage, it's not necessary, and aptitude for picking up new IT systems and processes will be important, right? So what these requirements says, you need to be qualified, you need to be good in communication. That's the different way of saying this. The second point, you should be good in communication, both kind of communication. um, and somewhat of an experience. Since it's an executive, accounts executive, but it's not a very senior role, minimum 1 year experience expected, like some kind of work experience. And these last 2 points indicate you should have some kind of a IT exposure, working knowledge with some ERP or accounting system is what is expected. So this is what you have to understand before applying for this. This is what they expect. So now you have to first see, um, before going into the responsibilities part, you have to first evaluate yourself whether you have a coverage of these skills. That's one thing. Then see, now this is also optionally put here. Now here this company has given, since this is a UK company, I think that's why they have given a special note on the working hours, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. So Saturday and Sunday is going to be off. So this is the working hours. Then you have to decide whether you are suitable to this time period. So some companies don't put this. Since this is a UK company, they had to put this so that you can decide. Okay, coming to the responsibilities part. The selected staff will be responsible for accounts receivable, accounts payable management. So the general functions. So these are the main responsibilities: recording receipts and payments, bank reconciliations, credit control, debtor management, liaising internally with account managers, so talking to account managers internally, posting of purchase invoices in a timely manner, ensuring payments are made when due to avoid disruptions. So these are some of the key responsibilities that you may be undertaking. So not necessarily these 6 things, but these 6 things are the primary ones. You can consider it as primary. Benefits would be, that is again you can decide that is additional purpose. So you will, so apart from the timing you saw earlier, after that you can say, okay, salary will be there based on experience. There will be some quarterly performance incentives, right? So every 4 months, sorry, every 3 months, you may get an incentive based on your performance. And maybe you may also get sponsorships to further your career. So maybe let's say you are, here it's mentioned CMA. So let's say CMA also they might accept. So let's say you finished managerial level, maybe they will sponsor you for the higher levels, maybe to finish your MBA as well. So they may give you partial sponsorship. So these are some benefits you can see what they give from this company. Then again, general expectations, being able to communicate at all levels within organization, including senior management, will be important. You will grow in a fast-paced, innovative, and deadline-oriented environment. Please send your CVs, the covering letter to this thing. Okay, so we don't know the person who is going to receive this. We could even try, let's say, tellapplicant.com. First of all, what you have to do is you have to try and see if you can find the person's name. So this is the hard work you have to do if you are desperate for that job vacancy. So you can understand their work area is voice over IP system. So something like Skype, and maybe they have a product of their own like Skype. I think that is what they have in the VoIP office. I think here. So this might be their product. So you can maybe further get details about their products and go through it. And let's see, maybe under about us, if we can find the person's name. So their core values, etc. Blah blah blah. Okay, here there are some people here. So he's the CEO. He may not call you for the interview. Shahin Khan, COO, software developer, no. Acquisitions. Okay, so these are very high level people. Don't know. contact us. No. Okay, so here maybe the HR person or that department, we don't know who is going to receive the email. But as you can see, at least we know some information about what their business is. So it's about voice over IP business communication support. Phone systems, SIP trunking, call plans. Okay, so it's all about something like that related to internet calls and stuff like that. So it's a communication oriented company, and they are looking for some account executive vacancy to support their business here. So if I'm going to open up my email and applying for this, so I go here, click on compose. Let me expand this. Okay, so what was the thing? accounts01@telapplicant.com. telapplicant.com. Always double check. Sometimes you won't be able to copy stuff here. Always double check the email address whether it is correct, because even one letter you go to the wrong and it will come back to you, bouncing back. So account01@telapplicant.com. Right. Then subject you have to mention the post you are applying. This is similar to the topic we put into the covering letter. So if you have put it under the subject here, you don't have to repeat it in the body, just like I showed here, right? So this thing, what we are doing, may not be needed in the email. So this is what we are going to put it in the subject line. So application for the post of, note how I am using the use of capital and simple cases. Post of, what was the post? Accounts executive. So you can either type it like this, or to get more attention, you can type it all in capital. Spelling. So that serves the topic. Now, what is the next step? So since you're sending an email, even putting the date and all might not be necessary, because the inbox already, you have the dates, no, like the person who is receiving will know what time you have written or sent the email. But still, for formality, you can mention the date. So let's say 20th of May 2020. 20th. Then I leave a space. Then I have to, I don't have the person's job role, right? Okay. So we don't have the job role. So what I could do is, I could just put a random role here, the receiving manager or something like that. Receiving manager, tell applicant, however they have pronounced that. Tell applicant. Yeah, that should be enough, since we also don't know the detailed address, or we may need to find the address from this place. If they have mentioned it. adding in under contact us, it will be there most likely. Yeah, tell appliant leader this thing. So I simply copy it. There's my okay. So here's a problem. Like you have a formatting issue. So that shouldn't be the case. I'll undo. What I should do is to bring it back to the same font. Quickly, what I can do is open up Notepad, paste it here, then copy from here and go back to. Then it should become the normal way. This is how you bring it to the standard font that is available on the email. But still you can even change further if you need, and go and do that as well. But this is the simplest way. Okay, so you have put the address, receiving manager. Why I have mentioned receiving manager? Because I don't know who is receiving. So some manager is going to receive it. Right. Then you don't know whether it is sir or madam. So what would be the suggestion? I'm just asking you. If you don't know whether you don't know the name, you don't know whether it is sir or madam. So what will you be typing? What would be the salutation? What is your guess? Anybody? I am sure most of you in this session might have written some kind of a official letter, right, for your personal work. And maybe in most cases you don't know the person's name who you are writing to. So what will you write as the salutation? Any idea? Exactly, I expected that answer, but that is wrong. You must never put this "oh, dear sir" or "dear madam" is not accepted. I mean, not accepted. It is not a professional way of doing. So you shouldn't do this. This is wrong. In such cases, you can resort to this one, to whom it may concern. Right? To whom it may concern. This is like you are pretty much sure you are not, you don't know who the person is, and that is the accepted way normally, right? So some people have done that, like dear sir or madam, because they don't know who it is, whether it is sir or madam. In such confusing times, you have to use this format, to whom it may concern. Right. Now I'm going to type the way I type it with reference to the job vacancy titled with reference to the job vacancy title accounts executive that appeared on if you are not sure about the date when this was applied, you can say recently. If you are sure about when it was applied, most probably it might be there. You can say, I think this was posted. They have the name, date of the post, 15 here, May, 19th of May. So here it's yesterday. So you can say on the 19th of May 2020, I would like to apply for this position. So Google is also giving good suggestions, so I will accept that. I'd like to apply for this position. So this is the first part where you give the reference and you give the attention. Right. Reference to job vacancy title, accounts executive, that appeared on www.jobs.lk on the 19th of May. I would like to apply for this position. So what is the next thing you have to do? What was the next thing we discussed? You have to, so that's the reason first we finished. Discuss about your skills relating to this particular position. Okay. And also maybe your qualifications. So let's assume you have a partially qualified CMA. I have completed CMA, whatever, let's say managerial level, recently, and let's say you're also still continuing and reading for the operational I have completed CMA managerial level recently and reading for the operational level. I have gained, what is the position related to accounts executive? So any kind of skills that would relate to this thing here. Okay, ERP system. I can say I am confident in operating let's say, what is that? I am just giving an example here. If there are any software packages, related to this accountancy, you can mention that you are having experience on that. So here, let's say I'll take a simple example like QuickBooks, right? If you already have that skills, you can say I'm confident in operating QuickBooks over the past 2 years and have gained sufficient expertise in now whatever things you could do in QuickBooks. I think that also is something has to do with this, right? In handling receipts, payments, bank reconciliations, credit control, debt management. I believe these are all possible in that software, isn't it? Anybody? I'm not very familiar with QuickBooks. Just let me know if you have heard of QuickBooks. Anybody else? I believe you should have already heard about QuickBooks. It's a very popular accounting package. So lot of things you can do under QuickBooks. So what you can do is you can mention, okay, these things, let's say maybe this one, third one, fourth one, you have done it there. So you can mention that you have the experience under working on those areas. So I'm confident in operating QuickBooks over the past 2 years. So the experience you mentioned and the experience relating to some kind of IT system. In, let's say I'll just randomly type here accounts payable, accounts payable, receivable. So I think this is how you write it. And let's put 1 or 2 skills from there. Credit control and debt management. Debt management. And maybe I'll just put another one, handling paychecks, because there was something related to that, no? Ensuring payments are made when due to avoid disruptions. So this could be any kind of payment expedite they're expecting, like whenever the payment receipt or bill needs to be generated, so it's generated in the time period. Let's say now, since you are already an experienced person, assuming you are an experienced person, since you have worked somewhere, if you have worked somewhere, you can use a language something like this. Having worked at, let's say I'll put a company ABC, I have worked with different teams coordinating and collaborating on day-to-day operations. So this is going to show your team spirit, right? The way, so this is to kind of suit to one of the requirements they mentioned here. What is that? Second point, right? Second point where you have good spoken written. Now to support the written part, let's say you can mention this one. So this is not you're going to lie or anything. The way how you target each and every expectation they have. Work with different teams, coordinating, collaborating on day-to-day operations, as well as involved with preparing. I know you can mention the type of reports. I'm just putting a random name here, right? You have to choose the correct kind of preparing financial reports and communicating via email to the senior management. Okay, so this is nicely put down as a skill set that is more likely to be towards this particular job role, and almost covering the necessary parts here, right? Then final point would be, so this should be enough. Maybe if there are any additional skills you would like to highlight, you can put them in this same paragraph itself. So moving to the last part. So this is optional again, achievements. So let's say one of these things, like you have, if you have, I don't know, it depends. So if you have certain things you need to highlight as an achievement, you can put that into the achievement part. So I'll take a imaginary achievement, like recognizing my reporting skills. I was awarded the most Employee of the Year award at ABC. Most valuable. You can put this in capital. Employee. Yeah, I have to put this in. So whatever things, any achievement. This is just a random thing. There could be some other achievements. This is again, this paragraph is optional. Okay. So you may have, you may not have, doesn't matter. But if you have, it's better to mention that. The point is to, make the highlight. Okay. So recognizing my reporting skill, I was awarded the most valuable employee at ABC in the year 2019. And me further to expand my career and skill set. And this has motivated me further to expand my career and skill set. And finally, the closure. So in the closure, what we mentioned is, okay. So similar language to use. I hope I have the necessary skills and potential to. Now here are a couple of word choices. You can use join your company. This is one thing. Or you can use potential to contribute to your organization. Or maybe you can even use the word institution. So decide which one is more suitable. You have to decide depending on the size of the company. So if it's a very big company, you can use the word organization. If it's a normal one, you can use the word institution. Try to avoid using the word company. Okay, so company is like, it's for talking language. Okay, so better use one of these words. So I'm not saying not to use the word company, but it doesn't make professional sense. So I hope I have the necessary skills and potential to contribute to your organization, and look forward for your favorable response. So now how do you finish it? Let me remove my signature. To whom it may concern. So how should I finish it? Quick recap. Anybody? Generally, how should I finish it? Yours sincerely. Was that the way? Yours sincerely is when you know the name, no? Okay. See what they have done here. Name is there. They are used sincerely. So here, do we know the name? You don't know the name. So it should be yours faithfully. Yes, yours faithfully. Keep that in mind. So again, you have to do the proper formatting. I don't know why it came in red. Maybe because I deleted my one, it takes the same font. So the thing should be yours faithfully. Okay. Yours faithfully. Then since you don't do a signature here in an email, if it's a covering letter, you have to leave space for that. Otherwise, no need. Just mention your name. Maybe with the initials. And then you can put a note attached CV or resume. Now sometimes people forget this line when you're typing an email, especially. So better would be you put this wording inside in the final statement here. So let me remove this part here. I hope I have the necessary skills and potential to contribute to your organization. So before that, before this sentence, I can put a sentence. Hereby, I have attached my CV for your reference. So if it is CV, use CV. If it is resume, use the word resume. I have already taught you what is resume, what is CV. So depending on whatever you are preparing there, use the correct wording. So hereby I have attached my CV for your reference. I hope I have the necessary skills and potential to contribute to your organization. Look forward for your favorable response. So, yours faithfully. That's it. So now, even if you forget to attach your CV, since Gmail and Gmail mostly has this intelligent sense that it will scan for this word and give you a reminder before sending. Now see, I have forgot to attach my CV, right? By mistake, if I click on send, see, it is giving me a suggestion. It seems like you forgot to attach a file because you wrote I have attached. So this way you can avoid your mistakes. So you wrote, so send anyway? No, I want to cancel, and then I can go and start attaching my CV. Finally, I can send it. Okay, so this is a general format. Uh, let me send this to some of you at the end of this. So let me um, pause the video for a moment.